All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I'm gonna look at, I think, 4 on this one. It's a viewer request slash meme one, I think, on this one. So KULR, I think, is worth a look. It's not quite there, but it's definitely very, very close. 100 moving average doing a good amount of support on this one. Obviously, we have another 4 lines total, right? So not too bad, but still need a little bit more. GWAV. So I don't think this one's ready yet. Obviously, I see the 2 green days that we got back to back. Definitely not enough, but if we can get over that 8 moving average, I mean, there is an elevator that might come from this red all the way up to green, maybe there, right? So we'll talk about that shortly. And then really quick, I'll talk about GameStop. Yeah, that's definitely a nice candle. When you look in the box over there, the high of the day was $24.97. We closed at $24.93, so very, very close to the high of the day. Seems to be coming down a little after hours, but you know I always say I don't really care too much about after hours. Regardless, the comment still holds. This thing needs to get over that like 28.50, 28.60, 28.70, whatever that tolerance is. At the minimum, the 8 and the 20, right? So I'm trying to talk about all 3 of those, and I guess if I got the time, I'll throw in AMC. AMC is still not looking good. We'll probably skip this one, I think. So, yeah, I'll talk about all this and more shortly, but before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here and giving me your time is super appreciated. All right, so let's get into KULR. And you know, I think that I normally start up here if you watch my videos regularly, but I really want to start down here with volume. And clearly, we are no longer living in this like monster volume window that we saw middle to late March, early April, right? Like it really feels like the 100 millions, the 50 millions. I mean, arguably even the 20, 30 millions are kind of behind us right now, right? So one thing that I like to do is just to remember what volume looked like before all this, right? And I'll click on a green day here. This one was 1.5. This one's a little bit higher, and this one was 4.9. This one's at 800K, 400K, 5 million. So it looks like it goes anywhere from roughly 1 million to 5 million. I would even probably say the average is probably a little closer to that 1 million, right? When all this big volume came, I mean, look, when a stock goes from 15 cents to, my goodness, what, 80 something, whatever that high was, 90, look at that, right? It's going to get the attention. It's going to get the volume. It is going to do it, right? And I've talked about, we have talked about KULR on the Chart Reader Discord. I mean, there's almost 500 things. When I go back to page 19 or 18, I think is where we found it. Yeah. You know, we've talked about KULR, the connections to a bunch of really, you know, Bezos and Musk, right? Like those are the only 2 names you kind of need, right? So KULR is definitely one that, you know, we've discussed. To me, these are all just 3 to 5 random letters that are jumbled together, and we need to let the technicals kind of guide the movement for us, right? And getting into the technicals now and up here, it's all about breaking the 50 moving average. I actually talked about KULR today. I'm on page 20, aren't I? Yeah, let's go to page 1. It's getting close. I mentioned it this morning, and I believe I mentioned our money line. Yeah, right here, KULR. 0.41 is basically what we're looking for, all right? And why do I want 0.41? Look in the box over there. The average 50 is 40 cents right now. And that's a pretty downward slope, right? Like, I got to imagine come tomorrow, it's probably going to even go to 39 cents. So if I can get into 41 world, oh man, I'm going to be nicely over that 50 moving average. I would be over all 5 moving averages. We need to get over the 50 moving average. We need to break 41 cents and start going up. From there, I'm thinking 47. I think I want to just check on this line. Oh, okay. I think we have the ability to lower it. Let's see if I can lower it to here and what that does. No, I don't want to do that. I don't. No, we're going to keep it where it was. I wasn't sure if I could lower this to actually get close enough to that 41, 42 and almost open up the channel more. But basically, hopefully we go from 41 to 47. That's a little bit more than 10%. And then really the money would come if we can break this 47 cent money line, all right? MACD is close to the 0 line, hopefully positive. RSI is a very healthy 60. And look, I'm seeing green over red on both. And hey, maybe a little bit of divergence on both, right? The volume, all right, I know I started with the volume. I'm going to end it with the volume on the technical side. Today was the first day in a long, since this day, since, my goodness, since January, February, March, since April. This is the first time that we've gotten over the 50-day average line. That's good. We are not here for a single good day. We're not here for a single anomaly, right? We need a little more in terms of our candle. We need a little more in terms of our volume, and then this thing can do it. Look, we really are looking for about 7 million. I think if we can get to 7.5 million shares tomorrow, so 7.5 divided by a 7-hour day, we're basically looking for a little more than 1 million shares an hour. If we can get to 2 plus 2.2 by that hour 2, oh man, there could be a lot to like in KULR. All right, again, 41 is the money line. You can argue that it might be like 39, 40, 41, like that little 3-cent little chunk, 2-cent chunk. Whatever your risk tolerance is kind of the move, right? But I would really hope for some good volume, all right? I think that's going to be the big thing. The one thing I want to look at, you can see it in those first 2 hours. We had the nice volume that took us well. You know what I mean? And hey, I'll be honest, I like this hourly chart. I'm here to talk about the daily and the weekly, but we're over all the moving averages. They look like they're going up. I mean, this isn't bad. We give us that volume pop in the morning again, and oh yeah, KULR can maybe make a move. I think this will be good maybe in 2 days. Hopefully tomorrow gets us to that money line. Hopefully we confirm and run after that. Where are we on the weekly? It's a tight weekly. So real tight weekly. So this one is saying 39 cents. This is saying break 39 cents, and that's going to be important. I think I'm going to hold my 41 cents. I mean, it's close enough that I think it's worth it. Listen, I say this with love and respect, right? KULR's a penny stock. So you got to remember this thing is a risky thing. Again, I flashed it a couple minutes ago. A lot of connections to a lot of big names. I know there are government connections. I know that this thing does like EV battery stuff. It does military things like this. It has a plethora to offer, right? It is still a very early prove it stock. It is in the penny stock world, and there's a lot of risk and reward that comes with that. But don't forget the risk side. Don't only focus on that reward side, all right? So I think that's pretty good here. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's come into GWAV. So GWAV. A lot of passion on this stock, all right? And I think the first thing I want to start with is, look, I'm never here to use the words buy, sell, hold, right? I'm just a guy letting these colorful lines, letting these indicators kind of tell a story, right? So I'm not here hating on the stock. I'm not here bashing on the stock. But yeah, there's a decent amount of not good that's happening here, right? There's a potential for some good, but we can't just assume, and we're going to need to set a good little criteria here, all right? So real quickly, please, if you can subscribe, if you can share, oh, it does wonders with these algorithms, all right? So look, the first place to start is up here, and there's two things that are jumping out at me. Number one, I hate reverse splits. All right, I don't care if it's a 1 for 15. I don't care if it's a 1 for 150 like we see here, a 1 for a billion. Reverse splits are bad. All right, we like forward splits, not reverse splits. All right, a stock should go up organically, not because of some like financial trickery that moves the decimal or whatnot, right? So I'm never a fan of reverse splits. I always think bad when I see that. Next thing, look, one of my fundamental rhymes is if you can get over all five, if you break all five, you fly. If you lose all five, you die. And I mean, this stock has been under all five moving averages for quite a while, right? It was obviously down there before the reverse split, and it's still there after the reverse split, right? But this was the point where we lost all five, and yeah, clearly it did what the rhyme said, right? So the one other rhyme I say all the time, and trust me, I love it. It's actually my wife's favorite. Red, 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 red could be a real quick green, 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 and it's a very like that is what makes parabolic stocks go parabolic. All right, and if we can get over that 8 moving average, if we can get over that dollar, man, maybe 190 is worth the wait, but at least 180, because you can see that the 8 moving average right now in the box is 178. I would want at least like 185-ish. Like I want a good break and separation from that 8 moving average, because again, there is so much red, red, red. The 20 moving average is all the way up at 360. 358 if you're looking at it to the penny, right? But I mean, that's a crazy trade. That's a crazy trade if it hits, right? I think, ooh, excuse me, a little hiccup. I normally don't draw lines on red candles, but I think that 215 might be something. If it's not 215, it would probably be 240. Let me see what the weekly says, and then I might adjust from there. Yeah, man, the weekly's actually saying. So look, I'm kind of jumping. Let me just stay to the daily. Let me finish up here, and then I'll go to the weekly. Again, I would be looking for 190. 185 probably at the bare minimum, but like I said, I think it's worth waiting for that 190. Hopefully we would trade up to that like 240. I think this is the line I'm going to keep from there. I mean, really the next technical up is that 350, okay? MACD, I do see the green over the red. Obviously I see it as I zoom in. MACD is definitely close. Sorry, I was zooming on the wrong thing. There we go. MACD is definitely close to the 0 line. Trust me, I see that all. I think this RSI is really hard to ignore. All right. We literally had the RSI at 0.0, 0.0, 1.14, and as of today, a 1.53. I mean, these are the craziest of the lowest of the low RSIs. I'm actually not entirely sure. I've seen a 0.0, let alone the next day also 0.00, right? So, that's hardcore. I've never seen it. And clearly there's this place where oversold, you got to rebound. I mean, the RSI is literally crazy low. This thing was crazy low at 15, went only as high as 28 before it went down to that 0.0 my goodness, this was 0.0. This was 0.0. All of these, wow, 1, 2, 3, 4, for 6 days in a row. This one wasn't 0.0, right? No, this one was, yeah. For starting here, if you're looking in the box, that one's 0.0, and all the way through these 6. My goodness, that's crazy. That actually is crazy. So does that signal a justification to think oversold? Look, I think it's fair to think it. Nothing's guaranteed and nothing's certain, and even an RSI this low is actually not making me think it has to come up. This thing for real can still live below the 8 moving average for a long time. All right, we see it go from down to horizontal to right back down, and actually a little bit lower till it goes right. So like, just because we're kind of flattening here, hey, we flattened here too, and then we lost it, right? So you really can't guarantee. There were moments when it looked like it was going to break and go, break and go, break and go. It just never did, and clearly loses it, right? So this isn't one you can assume on, especially coming off the reverse split, being under all 5 moving averages, having this low volume. But yeah, you break the 8, you go to the 20. That's kind of how this works, right? Go to break the 20, go to the 50, blah blah blah, right? So it's worth eyes. It very much better, and I'm saying this one more time, it very, very much better prove itself before you make assumptions, all right? So let me know your thoughts. I don't even think we need to look at the weekly much, but I kind of talked about it, so let me just say this real quick. I do see the RSI coming up. I do see a nice little divergence right there. I see way too much bad here, a little bit of not good there, and way too much not good here. I'm not liking it too much overall. The one good thing that's kind of I'm seeing is this volume. So what's today? Today's only Tuesday, and we're very, very close to the weekly volume. So assuming no crazy little dumps the next couple days, volume might actually look good on this weekly. So hey, that's at least something to take, but I think it's all about the daily, and it's all about getting over the 8 moving average, all right? So let me know your thoughts, let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's quickly end this with games. So I actually was not going to cover this one today. I had a couple people ask because, you know, it's still doing the exact same thing I've been talking about on the last video. So that's not a good candle. That's not confirmation. That's a decent candle. That's not confirmation. That doesn't count. That's a decent candle. All of it is still under the 8 and the 20. Right? Like it doesn't, what line is this? No, that's too low. That's too low. We can't move this line yet either. That's still my minimum requirement. All right. When I look at the actual number, the average 20 is at about 26.90. So, hey, maybe someone can say 27.60 is maybe a better line than this 28.60, right? I think to me, I really need a good little prove itself, right? And I'm real happy with this channel. I don't need that extra dollar to, I think, make a good profit, right? Like, I need good reason to believe that we're finally going to escape the lines and be on the better side of them. And I think that's going to be the line that does it, all right? MACD is still positive. MACD is actually almost, I can't zoom in that much, but MACD is seemingly trying to parallel out before it goes negative. I'm still not liking that red over green. It's a little bit too much of a distance, and I need a little bit more to believe. This RSI is still just waiting. It's waiting for the signal, and it's either going to go up to 100 if this thing goes up, or it's going to go down to 0 if we lose that red line, right? So we're living in this very, very important channel right here, right? So break 28.60, and this thing is very, very much worth your attention. Otherwise, it's just it's a little hard to believe, despite this good candle. And I'll say it again, this is a good candle today, right? I talked about in the beginning, the high of the day was 24.97. We closed a couple pennies below that. It's a good candle. We completely got back all of yesterday. We've actually taken a little bit more than half of Friday as well, right? So that's a good candle. It really is. I still think this is saying I want to come to 20 instead of 28. I need that secondary back-to-back. That's really what we need, all right? I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we only get like 26.30. And when I say only, that's actually a 10% move up there. That's an extra basically $2, give or take, right? But maybe we find ourselves in a doji between the two lines, or hey, maybe we get ourselves to that 27 and then we'll confirm with the 28. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit difficult to get over both those lines unless we can separate them a little more and like battle them one at a time, all right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Hey, thank you so much.